We're live, and there's Keiko. All right, so you're seeing what you need to be seeing. You not. Hey, Cake. Up. Oh boy. Go ahead, baby. Up, please. There we go. Now you'll see me instead of the dog. Okay. All right, that looks good. You guys here? Who's here? Say hi. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you. Keiko needs love, apparently. All right. Okay. So, lay down, please. You might be seeing a lot more of Keiko than me, actually, if she doesn't decide to turn around. Hi. I'm I don't know. I'm maybe 80%, maybe. Okay. And I don't know how long we're gonna last today. I'm hoping for an hour. I'm shooting for an hour. I'm planning for an hour, right? But that may or may not be what ends up shaking out. But it is going to be super chill, so hopefully I can get through that, right? Hey, Sandy. so yeah, we're going to get some nice stretches in without going too crazy. If you guys need more, you know how to bump things up, right? If you need a little extra in one place or another, so feel free to do that. Snowing! Oh my God! I was going to go outside, but it's too cold. I like to be outside, but it's been kind of crummy. I've been stuck at home and not feeling good and couldn't even go outside. So who else we got? Hey, Lindy. Thanks. I feel pretty good. We'll see. Like I said, we'll see how long we last. But again, we're not going to go too crazy intense. So if you're having a day where you just need to chill, then this is perfect, right? If you do, like I say, need to bump something up here and there, or throw something else in, or some sun salutes, or whatever you have to do, you of course are in your home, and you can do whatever you want, right? All right, awesome, you guys. So we're actually going to start with some breath work. So you can either sit on your mat, you can sit up against a wall, you can lay down for a little couple minutes to enjoy that piece of it. And then, like I say, we'll get into just a nice little gentle flow. Quick note, though, before I start, our 4-week program, Get Zen, is starting on Monday. So this is the final weekend to sign up. Right now, I've got a 2-for-1 going on. So if you want to pop over to anydayyoga.com onto the workshop descriptions, there's a little bit of info there. I can put it into the comments as well. I'll share the link with you. So check it out. I've been using it myself. I think if you saw my blog or my emails this week, you saw that I've been doing primarily meditation because of my situation. But it works. It still works. Whatever you're getting at those little 5-minute intervals throughout your day, it still brings you to this super cool Zen kind of thing. So check it out. If you're interested, definitely get in touch with me and we'll go from there. All right. So find a comfortable seat. So again, whether that's going to be on your mat, maybe propped up on a block or something, laying down up against a wall, whatever you have to do here so that your body is going to be comfortable and you can think about something other than how you're sitting, right? Because we want to stay really, really focused on the breath for just a few minutes as we begin here. So make sure you're comfortable. If you are upright, take your inner thigh rotation so that your pelvis sits upright. Right? Whether, again, maybe you're leaning up against a wall, sometimes that helps. And then just feel nice and rooted in your seat, or comfortable on your foundation if you are laying down. Just feeling really rooted into the areas that are grounded. Let your spine lengthen. Close your eyes if they're not already. And if you are having any places of tension in the body, try to release that as much as you can here. So again, we're not thinking about how the body is feeling right at this moment. We want to be really relaxed so we can focus solely on the breath. So once the body is in that comfy spot, just allow the awareness to move to the breath. And you don't have to do anything with it just yet. Just simply noticing what the breath is doing at this moment and being super thankful for every breath we take. We're going to move into a 3-part breath this morning. So with your next exhale, continue to exhale until you are as empty as you can possibly be. Even when you think you're done, there's always that still little bit. Pull your belly button in toward your spine, dump that all out. And then when you inhale, draw that air deep into your lungs. Feel your upper belly kind of poke out a little bit as the diaphragm drops. And then exhale and get really, really empty again. So feeling the air move into the lower lobes of the lungs, empty. And then inhale deep. Empty out again. Do that one more time. Emptying out. And then draw it deep. Continue to inhale and see if you can get your side ribs to get wide. And then exhale, pull your rib cage back together, pull your belly in, and get empty again. So a little bit more volume. Still inhale, breathe deep into the belly, wide into the side ribs. And then exhale. Do that one more time. And get empty. Let's go deep, wide, and there's probably still some space. So fill up from the bottom to the top. Great big breath. And then empty out from the top through the middle to the bottom. So again, bottom to top, as big as you can get. Fill all the nooks and crannies, this great big enormous breath. And then empty again. One last time like that. And as you empty out, just allow the breath to become more natural. We still want a big full breath, but not that great big enormous thing. We want to be able to do some things. So take a couple more of these more natural breaths. And if you are reclining, slowly make your way out to a seated position. So work at your foundation again. We've got that big, beautiful breath flowing. Your lungs hopefully feel nice and warm. Feeling rooted in your foundation, tall through your spine. And engage through the belly. So the pelvic floor is lifted, lower belly in and up. We're sitting tall through our sides. Try to rest your shoulders, let your hips release. And then just a nice stretch for the neck. Here on an exhale, go ahead and drop your chin down to your chest. And then with the inhale, lift your face up toward the ceiling. Try not to pinch your neck, keeping everything long. And then again, exhale, take your chin back down. One more time, inhale, lift your face. And with the exhale, just bring your head back to the middle. Take a nice big breath in here. And as we exhale, we're going to turn the face over toward the right shoulder. As if you were looking over your shoulder, you can have your eyes open or closed here. And then inhale, come back to the middle. And exhale as you turn to the left. Let's come back to the center. And then take it over to the right again. This time, let your chin roll toward your shoulder and all the way down to the center of the chest. Inhale your head up to the neutral position. And exhale, turning your head left. Letting your chin roll down to center. Bring your head back up to neutral. And then drop your right ear over toward your right shoulder. Just let your head be heavy. Your shoulder rests away from the ear. And you get a nice stretch up the left side of your neck. If you want a little extra, go ahead and take that left hand and stretch away from the body. Feel it down your arm a bit. If you want even more, you can take your right hand over the top of your head, reaching toward your left temple-ish area. And you can add a little pull if that feels good. If not, skip it. We're going to gently release that, come back to center, and then switch. So let your head just drop to the left. If that right hand reaches away, you get a little bit more, maybe. And maybe you like that sensation and maybe you don't. If it's not good, don't do it. And again, if you wanted a little bit more, that left hand can reach up and over and add just that gentle little bit of a pull. Again, we're looking for sensation. There's no goal, really. There's no place that's right. If it feels right, that's the spot. And then we're going to gently release that. Bring your head back to center. Extend both arms if they're not already. And on an inhale, go ahead and stretch them up toward the ceiling. And then exhale, bring them back down again. So connected to the breath, we'll do that again. One more time. And then back to the top, inhale. Exhale, just your right hand back to the mat. Give yourself a little tip over to that right side. Keep your left sit bone rooted. Stretch long through your left fingertips. And then with your next inhale, make your way back to center again. And switch over to the left. So start out just nice and slow and gentle. We'll come back up to center. And then you get a little opportunity for a little more. So take it over to the right again. Big full breath here. And back up to the center. Last time, taking it over to the left. Coming back to the middle. And then release the arms. So go ahead and take your left hand to your right knee, your right hand behind your back a bit, and give yourself just an easy little twist over to the right. Sitting up nice and tall, make sure your shoulders stay over your hips. Again, it doesn't have to be deep just yet. We'll work deeper. Releasing that back to the center, let's take our second side. And then back to the middle again. Let's work over to that first side. Use your arms a little bit more this time. So your right hand is right behind your body there. Push into the floor, sit up nice and tall. And then pulling against the knee, rotate from your belly button through your side ribs. Taking your shoulder back, look over your shoulder as far as you can see. So the twist is a little deeper maybe this time, more even through your spine perhaps. Just kind of see where it's supposed to be for you. Gently taking it deeper as you're ready. Let's come on back to the center. We'll do the same thing on the second side. So use your left arm like your second spine, pulling with your hand against the knee and rotating around as evenly up the spine as you can. Or as you're ready for. Right? Just because you can go deeper, right? Sometimes that's not, your body's not ready, or you're just not feeling it. We'll release to come back to the center again. We're going to take the fingers and interlace them behind the lower back here. So shoulder blades draw toward each other on the back, stick your chest out, and reach your knuckles for the floor. And they probably touch, unless you're maybe sitting up on a block. If you are, just kind of watch as we move into this, right? So keep the knuckles stretching away, extending out through the front of your head here. We're going to hinge forward, think belly button to heels-ish. And your hands may or may not touch the floor still. If you like, you can lift them away from your back, but keep that idea of stretching away from the shoulders. Take a couple of nice big breaths here. And on your next inhale, make your way back up to neutral. Before you release your fingers, think about which thumb you have on top back there. So release your fingers. We're going to switch which foot is in front. And if it feels awkward, that's normal. When you sit, right, occasionally try to switch which foot you put in front. You'll know because it'll feel weird, right? If you're not sure which side you normally go to, do one and you'll know whether that feels normal or not. So take your fingers then and release them behind your back with the opposite thumb on top. Pull your shoulder blades together again, reaching the knuckles away, and then hinge forward again. So belly button to heels-ish. And just notice the different sensations. And sometimes just because you've done it on the one side, it's easier. Good morning, guys. Everybody feeling good? Remember, how deep you take these things is always up to you, always. So take another big breath, and then gently hinge back up when you're through. Releasing the fingers, we're going to come around onto hands and knees. So wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Your belly still engaged. The spine is neutral for now. Nice and even on the four corners of the hands. Make sure that the base of the index finger presses down into the floor. And then some cat-cows. So as you inhale, drop the belly, pull the shoulder blades together on your back. And then exhale around your spine toward the ceiling. Think forehead to belly button. And then just flow a few times like that, in and out. Looking for sensation, finding the stretch. Do one more like that, in and out. And then we'll find a neutral place for the spine again. And instead of being in this tabletop, let's go ahead and take it into a kneeling plank. So hands forward or knees back, wherever you are on your mat there. Creating a nice long line from the crown of your head to your knees. Try not to let your belly droop or your butt stick up in the air, right? Find that middle space. So the core has to work harder, obviously. The hands are nice and engaged even into the floor here. Keeping your wrists happy, of course. Shoulders neutral on the back. I'm going to turn away from you to begin so you can see what's going on. This right foot over to the right side of the mat. Keep the knee on the floor. We're going to open the body to the left here. So you're on your right hand, right knee with the left foot at the back. Straight line from the crown of the head to that back foot. Right? And your hand can stay at your hip. The arm can extend up toward the ceiling. You can lift your left leg if you like. And then maybe take that left arm over the ear, stretch toward the front of your mat. You can even get a little bigger with this, lifting the hips, reaching the fingertips toward the floor overhead. Make sure the shoulder doesn't collapse in. It's easy to touch the floor then, right? But that's not where we're looking. Take one more breath. And then we're going to release that. Come back to center. Making sure you're aligned here on this side, and then taking the second side. So this left foot over to the left, and the body opens to the right. So again here, just check in with your alignment, make sure your belly's pulled in, and then add what you feel like adding here. So maybe the arm or the leg, stretching overhead or not so much. Lifting the hips and reaching toward the floor if that's you. And we're going to release that, moving back to the middle again. Nice and easy here. Go ahead and sit your hips back and make your way into a child's pose. So taking any variation you like here, whether your knees are close together or they're a little bit wider, your hands maybe back by your heels, resting your shoulders forward. Just kind of feel where your body wants to be. Maybe really stretching the arms away. Sometimes this first child's pose is really great for the side body. Play with it. And then stretching the arms back out again if you took them back by your sides. Ground the four corners of the hands. We're going to shift back into that kneeling plank. Knees are in a neutral position here, so if you did take them a little bit wider, bring them in. And then here, bend into your elbows tight to your sides. Come all the way down to the belly. So sometimes the hands end up underneath the shoulders. Bring them back a little bit so that the forearms are pretty vertical. Ground the pelvis into the floor so your lower back stays long. Hug your elbows toward each other. The feet are going to stay rooted on the floor, so you can even press down and make the legs really active here. And then following your breath here, on the inhale, roll your shoulders up by your ears, together on your back and down toward your hip bones. We're going to exhale and release that back to the floor. Inhale, roll up. Exhale, release back down. Taking a few more flows like that, in and out. Working a little deeper into our shoulders. Engaging the chest and back. Connected to the breath. Let's go once more. And then just release down, rest for a moment. Hug the arms in. Let's inhale, roll into our shoulders again, hold this one. Press down into the pelvis, press your feet down into the floor. Feel the elbows pull toward each other behind your back. You can add a little bit of work with the arms, pulling like you're pulling your belly button forward. Feel your triceps. Keep your elbows in. If you'd like, you can take your arms a little straighter. Nice neutral, even curve through your spine. And then release that back down again. So pressing into the hands and the knees, lift your belly and your chest at the same time, back into a kneeling plank. Gently all the way back to your child's pose again. So then stretching the arms out long, engaging into the four corners of the hands again. Let's make our way up into a down dog. And let your legs stretch, shift your hips, wiggle a little bit here. And then really settle into it. So make it nice and active. Press down into the four corners of your hands. Press your chest back. Sink into your heels. And then we're going to keep everything else as we have it. Take your left foot, big and second toe, straddle the right Achilles tendon, so just above your heel there. And then you're going to use that left foot to press the right heel closer to the floor. It may or may not touch the floor, it doesn't matter. Feel a little extra stretch. Releasing that side. And then do the exact same thing on the second side. So you're taking your right big and second toe, pressing left heel a little bit closer to the mat. And then releasing. Sinking both heels toward the floor, or you're a little deeper that time there. Instead of pressing into your heels, go ahead and come up onto your toes. We're going to drop the heels over to the left. Let your hips come down and move into a side plank. So if that's too much, you can always drop that left knee to the floor, just like we were earlier. So listen to what your body needs from you at that moment. Take a nice big breath. This right arm can do whatever you want the right arm to do. And then we're going to make our way back to our down dog again. Same idea on your second side here. So coming up on the toes and letting their heels drop over to the right. You decide again if you want that right knee on the mat. You add the little fun pieces that you want to add. And then we make our way back to down dog again. So let's go ahead and step the left foot forward, come to lunge. Dropping the back knee to the floor. Wiggle around into your hips a little bit, just kind of shift. And then find a center. So think sweeping the legs toward each other up underneath the body. Should feel your hips kind of square up a little bit. That's where we want to take the left leg straighter. And you can prop up here, of course, if you need to prop up anytime you need to. So just finding a nice little stretch, making sure the spine stays neutral. If you just round your back to get here, it doesn't stretch the hamstring. Right? So see if you can keep that neutral spine. We're going to bend back into the knee. Extend out through the crown of the head. Keep that idea of sweeping the legs toward each other again here. And we're going to bring the left hand to the hip and rotate around belly, side rib, shoulder, just like we did when we were seated. And then release the twist again. So you have the option of leaving this right knee on the floor. If you want a little bit extra, lift it away from the mat and take your left leg straight again. And even here, you can still prop up, right? You can prop up on a block or your shin, working to keep the spine neutral, whatever variation you're using. Bend back into the knee. And again, here you can drop the right knee again if you want. Sweep the legs toward each other so the hips are square. Make sure your belly's pulled in. Climb on up on this left thigh. And then the more you lift the chest, the bigger stretch you're going to get in the right leg. Hang on if you feel like you want to, or extend the arms. Try and relax into your shoulders. You can lift up unless that bothers your neck or makes you want to fall down. Let's go ahead and release the hands. Come back into the lunge. We're going to take the hands and walk them around into the center of the straddle. So take a second, make sure your feet are the appropriate distance for you. So maybe it's a little wider, maybe it's a little more narrow. Find 4 corners of both feet onto the floor. Let yourself hang for a second. Everybody doing all right? You can hear him breathing, honey, even here. Good thing I didn't try to do 7 million sun salutes, wouldn't work out, right? So instead of just hanging, see about pulling the shoulder blades toward each other on the back. Find that neutral spine again. And then from there, take your hands and walk them around toward your right foot, lunge to the back. Dropping the left knee to begin. And again, that left knee can stay on the floor the whole time. We're going to take the right leg straight. And so find your stretch here. If you need to be propped, certainly prop up. We want to focus on the spine being as neutral as we can. Bend back into the knee. Let the hips sink. Bring the right hand to the hip and add in your twist here. Rotating around nice and even up the spine. And you'll notice that if you let yourself, you'll kind of sink over to the left, right? Your hips will shift over crazy, right? Maybe you're leaning really hard into that left hand. That's a sign, right? Try and stay really centered with your lower body and just let your upper body move to where it will. If it's not a great big twist, don't worry about that. We're going to release the twist. You have the left knee down option or up. And then take the legs straight again, more straight-ish. So propping up if you need to prop up. And then bending back into the knee, up or down. So if you are feeling a little bit wobbly, maybe drop the left knee. Climb up on the thigh. Lift the upper body. And again, the arms do what the arms do. The arms are, well, except for when they're on the floor, the arms are always extra. Let's go ahead and release that, coming back down. Walk your hands back around into the center of the straddle. So again here, adjust your feet a little wider and more narrow, wherever you can be nice and even on the 4 corners. Find the neutral spine so the shoulders are pulling toward each other on the back. And then, even if you need to bend your knees here, take your index and middle fingers, Wrap them around your big toes. Elbows are going to bend out to the sides. That helps the shoulders stay where they are. And you can add a little pull on the toes to move a little deeper into the stretch if you need a little bit deeper. So let's release the toes then. Take the fingers to the lower back like we did earlier, interlacing. Draw the shoulder blades toward each other, and then reach the hands away from the shoulders. Away first, and then maybe up off the back. Feeling even on your feet. Let's release the arms. We're going to take the hands, walk around to the left foot again, lunging back to the top of the mat, and then stepping back into down dog. Dropping back into a child's pose. And again here, just taking any variation that feels right for you on this side, or in this child's pose. And I want to change this up just a little bit. Maybe you're already here. So instead of having your knees close, we're going to take them wide. And bring your big toes to touch. Okay. So go ahead and sit your hips back and sink your belly toward the floor. You can have your arms outstretched. You can make a little pillow for your head, whatever works. And you may want to have your knees a little wider or a little bit more narrow. You decide always, right? But we're going to keep the big toes touching each other and touching the floor. From there, we're going to take the hands, walk forward, and bring your hips forward. So we're looking to drop down to the belly. That may or may not be reality for you, right? So the knees are as wide as they need to be or not. The big toes touching each other, touching the floor. We're going to relax the pelvis toward the floor. And I know that sounds like craziness sometimes. And then we're gently going to come back up again. So bring your knees back in, normal child's pose. And then come up on your heels here. So if this is just misery, skip it, right? If you need to prop up, and you can take a block or a big fat book. I think I referenced the phone book before. I don't know that anyone even has a phone book anymore, but you get the idea. Something big and fat that you can sit on. So the feet are a little bit more open to fit the block, and then you sit up on the block, right? So that may be where it is. This is a tough stretch sometimes. So make yourself, comfortable here. So if you don't need a block, you absolutely can stay seated on your heels, but to move in and out of this next little piece, you're gonna want your heels on the outsides of your hips. So even if you're just propped up on the block, they're probably in that general vicinity, right? If you don't need the block, you don't need the block. Please go ahead. And then from here, the hands are going to come forward. The shins are going to stay where they're at, and we're going to come down on the belly. So not fancy with the legs any wider, right? Press down into your pelvis. And then just press yourself back up again. Ideally, the whole body lifts up at the same time, and sit back on your heels. or between your heels or on your block. Okay, so anywhere you are, you can do this next little piece or this little piece. Okay? So just kind of assessing how your body is feeling here, right? Let's do that again. Come forward and press down. Press into your pelvis, press down to the tops of your feet and into your thighs even. Press down into the mat with your lower body. And then lift back up and sit back to your heels again, or your block, or the floor, whatever you got going on. So let's do that one more time. Pressing down, pelvis, thighs, feet, belly. Try not to just squeeze your butt. We don't want to pinch up the lower back. And then up and back between your heels again. So once you've moved in and out of that a couple of times, sometimes it just lubes up the joints enough so that this is less awful. If this is still awful, just come out, right? You don't want to be miserable in yoga. If something feels that bad, it's wrong, right? Whether it's just wrong for you or you got the alignment wrong, I don't know. Right? I can't see you today. But that's the idea. If something hurts, that's no longer yoga, right? So you might still be propped up on a block. If you are, you're going to stay upright with your upper body, right? If you're sitting on your heels, you're definitely going to want to open them, right? And we want to keep the knees and the heels and hips in this general same alignment, right? So not wider, not one way or the other, right? Nice and parallel-ish. And you can absolutely stay upright here, absolutely. If you do want to go a little bit deeper, I'm going to encourage you to move forward on your mat a little bit, just so you got some place to go back. So you can stay upright, maybe even bringing the hands to the soles of the feet. As long as the shoulders stay over the hips, you're upright. So if you are propped, you're good. If you don't have anything underneath your butt and you want to go deeper, maybe drop an elbow to the floor. So if the knees get wide or lift up off the floor, that's your sign. You stop. Okay? 2 elbows and maybe shoulders. Maybe not. If you are kind of hanging out in space here, make sure your head stays in a neutral position. We don't want the head just flopping around. Keep the tailbone tucked so your lower back is long and happy. And the sure sign is if you can't breathe in it, right? If you're holding your breath, something's wrong. So wherever you are, making your way back up into your neutral position again. Gently bring yourself forward, all fours. And then just kind of shake it out. Maybe just wobble your heels back and forth, stretch your legs back there, tap your toes, whatever feels good. And then when you're ready for it, nice and easy, bringing yourself into one last down dog. From that down dog, go ahead and shift forward, come to a plank. You can be up off your knees or down on your knees, whatever. Bring it down to the belly. And then let's get a nice shoulder stretch here. So go ahead and extend your right arm out to the right. Hands in line with the shoulder. I like palm face down because it helps hold my hand where I want it to. Nice and easy. Begin to roll to the right. And you continue to roll to the right until you feel enough stretch in your shoulder. So you might have to barely move, right? You may be practically laying on your back, right? So just kind of play, find where the stretch is. If you notice your hand has slipped down by your bottom, you're losing the stretch. So just kind of replace it back up again. And then we'll come back to the center and switch. All right. So extend your left arm out, begin to roll to the left. And again, here you roll until you feel enough. And one side might be a little different than the other. So again, just kind of watch, look for the sensation. And then bring yourself back to the middle. So from here, tuck your arms in so that you can roll over all the way onto your back. And just take a second to get back onto your mat, centered, find even through your spine. And then just take a moment to rest back into it. See if you can drop your shoulders wider or deeper into the mat. Notice if you're even across your hips. And if your pelvis is neutral, where are you pressing into your lower back? So find the middle. Your legs can be bent or straight. And if they're not already, go ahead and bend your knees. Take your feet flat to the floor. Keep the neutral spine. That's the most important part. From here, extend the right leg straight up toward the ceiling. And then you can use a strap, right? Maybe across the bottom end of your foot, maybe behind your thigh here, if that's where you need. Maybe interlace your fingers back there. But the idea is to keep the shoulders back and the spine really neutral, right? So this is whatever it needs to be. So that happens. With an exhale, you're going to gently pull your right leg more in toward your chest and then release it. So just a little in and out. And the leg goes where it goes, but the spine stays as neutral as it can. And it's a little different for everyone. Sometimes it's the shoulders that don't want to stay back. Oftentimes it's the pelvis rolling up off the floor. Sometimes it's just this right hip, or right on this side anyway, that sort of kicks up toward the shoulder a little bit to accommodate the leg, right? Whatever other things are going on are just taking away from the stretch in the hamstring and not encouraging us to keep that neutral spine as these other body parts stretch. I feel like it makes sense. If you guys ever have any questions, feel free to maybe put them in the comments after even I'll see them, or if you want to contact me through the website. Remember, I'm available to answer questions whenever they occur to you. So we're going to do that one more time, in and out like that. And then find a middle. Right? So a little bit of a stretch, nothing crazy, spine is still neutral. Extend the left arm out to the left and glue that side of your body to the floor. Right? So your spine is going to stay just like it is, or your back side, not just your spine. So take the right hand to the outside of the leg and begin to drop it out to the right. As you're starting to feel your body weight shift over to the right, stop. Find neutral again. If you have to bring the leg back in a little bit, bring it back in a little bit. You may find that the more you release the weight of the leg into the right hand, the more your body weight will stay neutral, especially in the pelvis. But it's just sort of play. So don't expect that leg to fall to the floor. It will, but then this left hip lifts up and you lose the stretch in the hip anyway. So there's no point in getting the foot to the floor. unless that's where your stretch is, of course. Left hip glued to the mat. So we're going to bring it back to center and release the foot to the floor. So if you did get a little bit crooked, if you're goofing off like me, find that neutral spine again and extend the left leg. Right? So the same idea, neutral on the back side, propping if you need to prop it in any way, bringing the leg in and then a little out. And it can be bigger movements, but if you get too big, then there's probably a lot of movement going on your back side. So just find your stretch. And let some more in and out. And then find that neutral place. Extend the right arm. It helps just to keep the right side down. Support the outside with the hand and then fall to the left. Again, bear the weight of the leg and the arm so that the inner hip can release. It'll release the weight of the body a little bit more even into the pelvis again here. So just finding it and take your time. And sometimes the body wants to shift one way or another. You'll bring it back to center and then it will try something else. So just play with it. Find neutral. And then come on back to center again and release your foot to the floor. So feeling pretty neutral here on the spine. If you're not, make it so. Extend the arms out to the sides. And then just allow your knees to fall over to the right. So you can get fancy and shift your hips and prop up or cross your legs or straighten your legs or any other little variations you want to. Or you can keep it super simple. Just let those legs fall to the side. So if you can release the muscles into the mat. And the more you let go, the deeper your twist might go. Take another big breath here. And bring yourself back to neutral. If you did get a little crooked or you shifted in one way or another, come back to that neutral place and then just let the legs fall left. And if you did adjust or shift or straighten or cross or whatever, make sure you are as even as you can be on both sides. Let's take one more nice big breath here. And then bring it back up to center again. Draw the knees into the chest and just gently rock. So you can rock side to side, you can rock more forward and back. Draw circles with your knees. And then squeeze the knees in as tight to the chest as you can get. Pull the forehead toward the knees, rounding up through your spine. Releasing that out into a full body stretch. Use every muscle, one last little movement here. And then release your stretch. Let your arms come back down by your sides. Take a second if you do need to adjust so that you can find that nice neutral body position. Letting the palms turn face up so the shoulders rest back. Let your feet flap open. And release the weight of your body into the floor. And the body is done for now, so let it rest. Bringing the awareness back slowly to the breath. And just like we began class, simply spending a few minutes observing the natural flow of your breath. Noticing if maybe it's a little different than it was when we first began. And whether it is or isn't, don't judge, doesn't matter. Just see if you can simply sit in observation. Slowly draw in a deep cleansing breath, and then let that all go. Restoring small movement to the body as you're ready, fingers and toes, arms and legs. Allow yourself to move and maybe taking one last full body stretch here. Bringing the feet flat to the mat. Gently making your way up to seated. Take your time. Keep your eyes closed and the mind quiet. Sitting well here. Let's draw the palms to touch. Bowing to the light within. Namaste. Thanks for playing today, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that nice little easy stretch, and maybe next week I'll be ready to roll again. I didn't cough. That was a good thing. There you go. So remember to visit the website if you have comments and questions. If you want to throw me a like on YouTube, or if you're on Facebook and share, please do. Visit the website and check out the 4-week program if that's you. Beginners are wonderful. We love them. Thanks, you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks, Cheryl. Thank you, Lindy. Janice, namaste. Thank you. Oh, fantastic. I'm glad you were able to make it. We're here every Saturday morning at 9:30. So